The goal of charting is to separate the signal from the noise. My friends, what does that mean? That means making sure that you see what's actually going on and not being fooled by all the other things that are out there to take your attention. All we care about is price movement. Is price in a downward trend and going to keep going? Is it ending? Can we tell by what's happening with the volume and the candlesticks that we are coming to the end of that move and a new move up is beginning? Again, we need to have charts that are trackable, and then we need to pay attention to what we are seeing on the screen and use that to help us make nothing more than a binary decision. Is the stock or ETF going up or down? It's never any more complicated or any more simple than that. Let's jump into these charts. Stocks are up for the day. Bonds, gold down, Bitcoin up a little bit. By the way, Patreon members, I did a special recording for you. A new thing that I started. I'm going to see if you guys like it. I'll continue it every week, but I'm showing you the stocks and ETFs that I am looking at that have set themselves up rather nicely on our 3-time frame chart and are in the process of potentially rolling over, either going down or going up. Just something else for the Patreon members if you're interested. Of course, check out our Patreon link in the show notes, both on YouTube and on the video. And if you're signed up and are receiving our daily reviews, our once a week review and forecast, and of course all the trainings that we put out every day, you'll see it in those notes also. You can sign up for free at chartingwealth.com. We never spam or share that mailing list. Now let's jump into things. What do we see going on? Well, I said that stocks were up for the day. You can look at the S&P 500 and you can see I've been talking about this 30-period exponential moving average, and are we going to get stuck there? Well, we have pushed through it as far as price goes, but we can see that the candle itself is hanging out there. Volume's okay. Again, it's not super low or super high. It's right close to being average. We can see on the 2-day chart where volume was up nice, slowed down here. And of course, we do see this telltale sign at the end of the day where things started moving up. Now, we've seen that happen before, about the same kind of volume, slid sideways and dropped again. So we will pay attention. We're below the weekly trend line on both the 2-day and the half-day chart. So again, we're just continuing to monitor, see where things are going. If we see things bending and turning around, and again, may just be digesting some of the losses that have already happened and are getting ready to head down more. We don't see any huge warning signs. I am paying attention to the amount of volume that we see here at the end of the day. Things tried to move up and then got pushed down. Now, that's not a bad sign for things continuing to go down. Tried to get some up movement and could not. In fact, got sold out and pushed back down. So we will pay attention as we jump into Friday and then go on into this next week. What do we see with the NASDAQ 100? Somewhat similar. Again, increasing volume at the end of the day, but nothing to be able at the end to do anything but have that price pushed back down. We look at where we are on the weekly. And again, this candle is gotten a little shorter, it looks like. We look at the wick. It has dipped just below that 30-period exponential moving average. And again, prices below the weekly trend line on the 2-day and on the weekly. That is important. Would like to see a much more angled down trend line instead of just this sort of sideways sliding one. But that, of course, is what we have, and that's what we'll deal with. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. Let's go to bonds. Bonds down for the day, going in the direction that I've been hoping they would go, 0.89%. Things are still shaping up quite nicely. The down move I've been in a while. I'm also in a down move on the Q, so I'm keeping a close eye on that too. This one I'm allowing to run out a lot. I'll show you where I am with, that's PSQ. I'm still doing quite okay there, but TBF is what I wanted to show you. I spoke about this yesterday where I had done one ATR off the 2-day chart and had jumped in and had quickly done well in that and gotten out, sold half my position, letting the rest of it ride. So again, we will continue to watch and see how that goes, and if indeed I'm going to get that entire 9.73%, that would sure be nice. I already captured the 2.81% with the first half of that trade. That's what you call letting your profits run. We'll make sure they do. If they don't, then of course we will take ourselves out at the appropriate time. But as we look at where bonds are now, let's go back to our regular. Now I told you I like to track for you guys, even if we're looking at an inverse fund. I like to nonetheless track for you guys the underlying ETF, which is of course on this one the NASDAQ, the TLT 20-year bonds. Going into the fourth week of down movement, nice down candle, price below the weekly trend line, very much below it on this 2-day. We saw where we had increased volume in the morning, slacking off a little bit in the afternoon. But again, things looking okay so far, and we'll continue to watch, wait, and see how things progress. Let's take a look at gold. Where are we there? Gold down just a little bit, 0.06%. Now we are paying attention to this 2-day chart in particular. Well, not just the 2-day chart, but we are paying attention to what's going on with it. You can see where it has flattened out. We got a doji there with lots of volume, and then things moving up. I can zoom this in a little bit for you. We can see where we had a doji, almost a doji, a green spinning top, and then we had this up movement. High volume, not so much on the volume there, but it is moving up and through the weekly trend line. So we're paying close attention to that. If we go back and highlight and pull up the half day, you can see where the half day bottomed out here, and it's had, particularly here, some really decent energy and volume popping it up. And it has, of course, in the morning and in the afternoon slid through this weekly trend line. So we are looking on gold. There's some other signals. I've been monitoring other things just besides gold itself. Been looking at the gold miners, the junior miners, just sort of keeping an eye. Silver also, just sort of seeing what these metals are doing. Maybe gold is reaching a bottom here and is going to push off this 30 EMA. That would be sweet as we get into this next week. Lastly, I'll take you to Bitcoin. Bitcoin up a little bit for the day. Again, I did the charting cryptos and commodities for the Patreon members. I'll release it to the general public on Friday. Nothing real exciting going on here. Not a nice angle going up. Sort of sloppy where we're crossing through and then back up again, not staying above it. So again, up 0.21%. That's not much for Bitcoin. We're just sort of hanging out in this area. See where we're going to go. Is it going to digest those gains and head back up again, or roll back over going down? Again, you can see these red candles on the 2-day. And of course, you can see red candles today, but overall up 0.21%. That is where we are, folks, as we end the day on Thursday. Don't forget, tomorrow we will be releasing charting cryptos and commodities, in addition to recording for you and putting out our weekly review and forecast. By the way, again, Patreon members, don't forget to check out that three chart trading. Anyway, I've got several interesting ETFs and stocks for you to look at. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.